you know that respect is much more than just being polite? It's actually the foundation of all human interactions. But what if I told you that you might be misunderstanding what respect really means? In this video, we're going to explore 12 Stoic signs that you should cut all contact with someone. Stick with us for an eye-opening discovery that could change how you interact with the world. We'll show you how to guard your self-respect and better your relationships with others. And don't forget to share your experiences and thoughts in the comments below. Let's get started. Number 1. Persistent lack of respect. A persistent lack of respect in any relationship, whether personal, professional, or social, can be profoundly damaging. Respect is not merely about politeness or superficial manners. It is the fundamental glue that holds interactions and relationships together. When respect is consistently absent, it undermines the very foundation on which mutual understanding and trust are built. In a relationship devoid of respect, one or both parties may feel devalued and insignificant. This can manifest in various forms, some subtle and others overt. For instance, one might experience frequent interruptions during conversations, which signals a disregard for one's thoughts and contributions. It can also appear in the form of dismissive gestures, sarcastic remarks, or even through non-verbal cues such as rolling eyes, sighing heavily, or looking away while someone is speaking. These behaviors, though they might seem minor in isolation, cumulatively contribute to a toxic environment that erodes self-esteem and confidence. More severe forms of disrespect include undermining a person's achievements, public humiliation, and overtly critical comments that are not constructive, but rather intended to hurt. In professional settings, this could translate to taking credit for someone else's work, belittling someone's ideas in front of others, or consistently questioning their decisions unjustifiably. In personal relationships, it might involve derogatory names, making fun of a person's shortcomings in a demeaning way, or constant criticism about their choices in life, from their style of dress to their circle of friends or career decisions. The persistence of such disrespect is a clear red flag indicating deeper issues within the relationship. It often points to a power imbalance where one person feels entitled to belittle the other, intentionally or subconsciously asserting dominance. This behavior is not only harmful to the recipient, but also toxic to the overall dynamic of the relationship. It creates a cycle of negativity, resentment, and conflict, which can be difficult to break without conscious effort and often external intervention. The consequences of enduring such an environment extend beyond discomfort and can have serious implications for mental and emotional health. People subjected to continuous disrespect may experience increased anxiety, depression, and a sense of isolation. This emotional toll can lead to more severe health issues, including chronic stress and its many physical health risks, such as hypertension and heart disease. Furthermore, living in a state of constant defense against disrespect can hinder one's ability to form new, healthy relationships or even to function effectively in everyday life. Given these significant impacts, recognizing the signs of persistent disrespect and addressing them promptly is crucial. Solutions may involve open and honest communication about the feelings and incidents that contribute to the feeling of being disrespected. In cases where the disrespectful behavior does not change, despite attempts to address it, more drastic measures such as counseling might be necessary, or in some cases, ending the relationship might be the healthiest option. Ultimately, everyone deserves to be treated with respect, and maintaining a relationship without it is neither sustainable nor healthy. Recognizing when respect is absent and taking action to either restore it or step away from the relationship is not just important for one's well-being, but essential for living a life of dignity and self-respect. Number 2, recurring dismissive or destructive behavior. Recurring dismissive or destructive behavior in relationships is a significant red flag that often goes unaddressed until the damage becomes severe. Such behavior can manifest in numerous ways, subtly eroding the foundation of trust and respect that healthy relationships require. Dismissive actions trivialize an individual's feelings, needs, and experiences, effectively communicating that these concerns are unimportant or unworthy of attention. Destructive behavior, on the other hand, actively damages the relationship, often through overt negativity or aggression. Dismissive behaviors can appear as a habitual disregard for one's partner's opinions in conversations, where one person consistently talks over or interrupts the other. This pattern might seem insignificant at first, but can lead to deeper communication breakdowns over time, as it sends a clear message that the opinions and thoughts of the other person are not valued. Another common form of dismissal is neglecting to acknowledge or respond to emotional expressions. When someone shares feelings of sadness, fear, or joy and receives no recognition or response from their partner, it can lead to feelings of isolation and emotional abandonment. Destructive behavior takes these dynamics further, encompassing actions that are intended to undermine or hurt the other person. This could include insulting or belittling the other person, often under the guise of jokes or just being honest. It can also involve more severe actions such as sabotage, like revealing personal information without consent, or actively working to undermine a partner's relationships with friends or achievements at work. These behaviors not only harm the individual on the receiving end, but also poison the overall atmosphere of the relationship, leading to a cycle of resentment and anger. The impact of such behaviors is profound. Emotionally, individuals experiencing regular dismissive or destructive treatment may start to doubt their own value and judgment. This can lead to decreased self-esteem and a distorted self-image, which are often accompanied by anxiety and depression. Psychologically, being frequently dismissed or undermined can lead to learned helplessness, where the person no longer believes they have any agency or control over their life circumstances. This state of mind significantly impedes personal growth and can stifle any attempts at assertiveness, leading to further personal and professional setbacks. In social terms, dismissive and destructive behaviors can isolate the affected individual, either because they feel unworthy of other relationships or because their partner's behavior drives friends and family away. This isolation exacerbates the negative effects on mental health and can leave the individual without a support network when they most need it. Addressing these behaviors requires recognizing their patterns and understanding their impacts. It often involves honest and potentially difficult conversations where the affected individual must express how these actions make them feel and the consequences they have on their well-being. Setting clear boundaries is crucial. For example, specifying that interruptions or derogatory comments are unacceptable and outlining the emotional and relational consequences if such behavior continues. In situations where the dismissive or destructive behavior does not change despite these efforts, it may be necessary to seek external help, such as counseling or therapy. These professional interventions can provide a safe space to explore the reasons behind the behavior and develop strategies for change, or if necessary, a structured way to leave the relationship safely. Ultimately, if dismissive and destructive behaviors persist without resolution, cutting contact might become necessary to protect one's emotional health, self-respect, and overall well-being. No relationship should cost an individual their mental health or sense of self-worth. Recognizing and acting against dismissive or destructive behavior is not just an act of self-care, it's a critical step toward living a healthier, happier life. Number 3. Detrimental effects on mental health. The detrimental effects on mental health caused by unhealthy relationships can be profound and far-reaching, impacting not only one's emotional state but also their physical health and overall quality of life. Relationships that constantly induce stress, anxiety, sadness, or a general sense of unease are toxic and can lead to significant mental health issues, including depression, anxiety disorders, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. In such relationships, the continuous exposure to stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline can have harmful physical effects as well. These may include headaches, insomnia, digestive problems, and a weakened immune system, making one more susceptible to illnesses. Over time, chronic stress can lead to more serious health problems such as hypertension, cardiovascular diseases, and a decrease in the overall life expectancy. Mental health impacts from negative relationships don't just stop at anxiety and stress-related disorders. The constant tension and emotional turmoil can erode self-esteem and self-worth, leading to feelings of helplessness and hopelessness. This emotional wear can disrupt one's ability to function effectively in everyday life, affecting performance at work, the quality of other relationships, and one's ability to enjoy life. Moreover, living in a state of perpetual distress can skew perception and decision-making processes. It becomes challenging to see situations clearly or make rational decisions, which can lead to poor judgment, calls that compound the problem, creating a vicious cycle of negative outcomes. The strain of coping with a toxic relationship can distract from personal growth and self-care, leading to neglect of one's needs and priorities. For many, the realization of being in such a damaging relationship comes with its own emotional toll. Acknowledging that a relationship, whether with a partner, a family member, or a close friend, is a source of profound mental distress can be a painful truth to confront. This realization often comes with guilt, shame, and a sense of failure, which can hinder the decision-making process regarding the next steps to take, whether to seek help or leave the relationship. Dealing with these effects often requires external support. Counseling or therapy can be invaluable, providing a space to talk openly and confidentially about the issues being faced. Mental health professionals can offer coping strategies that help manage stress and anxiety and work on rebuilding self-esteem and resilience. Additionally, support groups and online forums can offer comfort and advice, showing that one is not alone in their experiences. In cases where mental health has been severely impacted, taking steps to distance oneself from the source of distress becomes crucial. This may mean setting firm boundaries or, in some instances, cutting off contact entirely. Protecting one's mental health might require difficult decisions, but it is essential for long-term well-being. It is also important to recognize when professional help is needed to manage the effects of toxic relationships. Mental health professionals not only provide support, but can also help one develop a personalized plan to recover from the relationship's impacts and regain control over their life. Understanding and acknowledging the profound impact a relationship can have on mental health is the first step towards recovery. Taking action to mitigate these effects is crucial, not only for one's immediate well-being, but also for securing a healthier, happier future. The journey of recovery from such relationships can be challenging, but with the right support and resources, it is possible to restore balance and enhance quality of life. Number 4. Misalignment of core values. Misalignment of core values between individuals in a relationship can lead to significant discord and discomfort. profoundly impacting both partners' emotional well-being and the overall health of the relationship. Core values are the fundamental beliefs that guide our decisions, shape our behavior, and define what we consider important in life. When these values are not in alignment with those of our partners or close associates, it can create an environment of continuous conflict and ethical dilemma. The essence of value misalignment in relationships often manifests as an ongoing clash over key life choices and moral perspectives. For example, one person may value honesty above all else, while the other may find it acceptable to bend the truth to avoid conflict or gain advantage. Such differences can lead to recurring arguments and a fundamental lack of trust. Similarly, if one partner prioritizes career and financial success, while the other values family time and personal relationships more highly, it can lead to disagreements over how time, resources, and energy are allocated. These fundamental discrepancies can feel like a persistent barrier to achieving harmony and understanding within the relationship. Over time, these barriers can lead to feelings of isolation, as each individual may feel misunderstood or undervalued by the other. The ongoing tension and frustration stemming from trying to reconcile these differences can erode the sense of partnership and mutual support that is essential for any healthy relationship. Moreover, when core values are not shared, partners may struggle to support each other during critical life events or decisions, further straining the relationship. For instance, if one partner values autonomy and independence highly, they may have difficulty understanding or supporting their partner's desire for closeness and interdependence. This disconnect can lead to significant emotional dissonance, where one or both partners feel they must compromise their deeply held beliefs to maintain the relationship. The misalignment of values also complicates personal growth and development. In a supportive relationship, partners often encourage and motivate each other to pursue goals that reflect shared values, such as integrity, compassion, or ambition. However, in relationships where values diverge, there may be less motivation to support or engage in activities that the other finds meaningful, leading to a lack of personal and collective progression. Recognizing and addressing this misalignment requires open, honest communication about each individual's values and the impact of these differences on the relationship. It involves each partner clearly articulating their beliefs and the reasons behind them, as well as listening to understand the other's perspective. Such discussions can be challenging and may necessitate a willingness to make compromises or adjustments in behavior and expectations. In some cases, couples may find ways to bridge the gap through mutual respect and understanding, finding common ground in shared aspects of their values, or agreeing to respectfully disagree on others. However, if the value misalignment is too profound and the resultant conflicts too damaging, it might be healthier for both individuals to consider ending the relationship. This decision, though difficult, allows both partners to find relationships that better align with their core beliefs and values. Ultimately, addressing misalignment of values is crucial for the long-term success of any relationship. Failing to do so can lead to ongoing resentment and unhappiness, undermining both partners' well-being. Recognizing when value differences are irreconcilable and acting decisively to resolve these issues, whether by adapting the relationship or ending it, is a critical step in ensuring personal integrity and emotional health. Number 5. Emotional drain. Emotional drain in a relationship is a critical indicator that the dynamic between individuals is severely imbalanced and potentially harmful. When interactions with a person consistently leave one feeling depleted, it is a sign that the relationship may be functioning more as a source of stress than of support. Emotional drain can manifest in various insidious ways, deeply affecting one's mental health, physical energy, and overall enthusiasm for life. Typically, Emotional drain occurs when one party consistently requires more from the relationship than they are willing or able to give back. This imbalance can arise from constant negativity, endless demands, emotional blackmail, or even subtle forms of manipulation that leave the other person feeling exhausted and overwhelmed after every interaction. In some cases, the draining individual may not even be aware of the impact of their behavior, while in other cases, it might be a deliberate tactic to maintain control or dominance in the relationship. The symptoms of being emotionally drained are multifaceted and profound. On an emotional level, individuals may experience feelings of sadness, irritability, or a sense of being emotionally numb or empty after interactions with the person. This can lead to withdrawal from the relationship or from social activities that were previously enjoyable, as the individual attempts to safeguard their remaining emotional energy. Mentally, the constant strain can lead to difficulty concentrating, indecisiveness, and a pervasive sense of dread concerning interactions with the draining person. Physically, the stress and anxiety can manifest as fatigue, headaches, sleep disturbances, or other stress-related health issues. Over time, being in a continually draining relationship can lead to more severe mental health issues, such as anxiety disorders or depression. The ongoing stress can activate the body's fight or flight response, leading to a chronic state of heightened arousal that wears down physiological systems, increasing the risk of a range of health problems, from digestive issues to heart disease. Addressing emotional drain requires recognizing the patterns and taking decisive steps to protect one's well-being. Initially, this might involve setting clearer boundaries with the draining individual, such as limiting the length of interactions, controlling the frequency of contact, or specifying topics that are off limits. Communicating openly about how their behavior affects you can sometimes help the other person become more aware of the need for change. However, if these measures do not alleviate the emotional drain, or if the individual continues to overstep boundaries, it may be necessary to consider more significant changes to the relationship. This could mean spending less time with the person, engaging in activities together only in group settings where the emotional burden is more distributed, or in extreme cases, ending the relationship altogether. For many, the decision to reduce contact or end a relationship due to emotional drain is fraught with guilt and uncertainty. There may be a fear of overreacting or a hope that the relationship will improve. Yet prioritizing one's emotional health is not just an act of self-care. It's a necessity for maintaining one's quality of life. Professional support from counselors or therapists can also be invaluable during this process, providing guidance and validation that can help one navigate the complex emotions and decisions involved. Ultimately, recognizing and responding to emotional drain is crucial for preserving one's mental and physical health. Taking action to address this issue not only protects the individual, but also opens up space in their life for healthier and more mutually supportive relationships. Number 6. Manipulative dynamics. Manipulative dynamics within relationships represent a severe and insidious violation of trust that can deeply affect one's mental and emotional well-being. Manipulation in relationships often involves an individual using subtle or overt tactics to influence, control, or alter the behavior and perceptions of others for their personal gain. This form of psychological manipulation can be particularly damaging, as it frequently undermines the autonomy, confidence, and emotional stability of the person being manipulated. Manipulation can take various forms, ranging from emotional blackmail and gaslighting to more subtle tactics like guilt-tripping or silent treatment. Emotional blackmail might involve threats, ultimatums, or the deliberate provocation of guilt to control another's actions. Gaslighting, a particularly harmful form of manipulation, involves undermining another person's reality by denying facts, the environment, or their feelings, leading to confusion and self-doubt in the victim. The effects of being in a manipulative relationship are profound. Initially, one may not recognize the manipulation as it can be cloaked in concern or affection, or it may come in the form of slight adjustments to behavior that seem harmless. Over time, however, the cumulative effect of these manipulations can lead to significant psychological distress. Victims often experience a decrease in self-esteem, heightened anxiety, chronic confusion, and a pervasive sense of mistrust, even in their own judgment. The manipulation can alter their perceptions so dramatically that they find it difficult to make decisions or identify what they genuinely feel or want. The psychological impact is often accompanied by physical symptoms as well. The constant stress and emotional turmoil can lead to sleep disturbances, headaches, digestive problems, and a general decline in physical health. These symptoms are not only a response to stress, but also a manifestation of the psychological and emotional control exerted by the manipulator. Dealing with manipulative dynamics in a relationship requires first recognizing and acknowledging the manipulation. This recognition can be challenging, as manipulation often involves complex emotional layers and significant denial. Education about manipulative techniques and understanding the patterns can help in identifying the behavior. Once manipulation is recognized, setting firm boundaries is essential. This might involve clearly communicating the behaviors that are unacceptable, seeking external support from friends, family, or professionals, and consistently enforcing consequences when boundaries are crossed. In situations where the manipulation continues despite these efforts, it may be necessary to consider reducing contact or entirely removing oneself from the relationship. Professional support through therapy can be particularly beneficial in these situations. A therapist can provide a safe and confidential environment to explore the feelings and conflicts that arise from being manipulated. They can also help in building the tools necessary for recovery, such as strengthening one's self-esteem, developing assertiveness skills, and learning how to establish and maintain healthy boundaries. In the most severe cases, particularly when the manipulation is part of an overall pattern of abusive behavior, exiting the relationship might be the only viable option to restore one's mental health and regain control over one's life. Making the decision to cut ties with a manipulative individual is challenging and often fraught with emotional turmoil. However, it is a necessary step towards healing and rebuilding a sense of self that has been compromised by ongoing manipulation. Ultimately, addressing manipulative dynamics in any relationship is about protecting one's psychological integrity and emotional health. While difficult, confronting and taking action against manipulation is crucial for leading a healthier, autonomous, and fulfilling life. Number 7. Absence of trust. The absence of trust in any relationship, whether personal, professional, or social, is a profound issue that can destabilize and eventually dismantle the bonds between individuals. Trust is the foundational element that supports open communication, mutual respect, emotional safety, and understanding. Without trust, relationships are built on shaky ground, prone to misunderstanding and conflict, which can lead to chronic stress and emotional turmoil for all parties involved. A lack of trust can manifest in various ways. It may start with small doubts or hesitations about sharing personal information or feelings, stemming from fear that the other party will not handle this information with care or respect. Over time, these doubts can escalate into more significant suspicions, leading to constant questioning, verification, or even spying on one another. This environment of suspicion can suffocate any genuine intimacy and connection, as each person guards their true thoughts and feelings to protect themselves from potential betrayal. In relationships lacking trust, Every action and every word can be interpreted through a lens of doubt. Simple misunderstandings can quickly escalate into major conflicts, as each party may assume the worst intentions in the other. This lack of trust can create a cycle of fear and insecurity, where neither party feels truly valued or understood. Moreover, without trust, there's a perpetual emotional distance, as each person holds back their affection and commitment, unsure of the other's loyalty or love. The effects of such an environment extend beyond the immediate emotional impact. Chronic mistrust in relationships can lead to increased anxiety, emotional exhaustion, and a sense of loneliness. These feelings can spill over into other areas of life, affecting one's mental health, social interactions, and even professional performance. People in relationships without trust often find it harder to focus on tasks or enjoy social activities, as they may be preoccupied with concerns about their relationship's security. Addressing the absence of trust requires open and honest communication. It involves discussing the roots of the distrust, whether they stem from past experiences, specific incidents within the relationship, or misunderstandings that have accumulated over time. Both parties need to express their feelings, concerns, and needs without fear of judgment or retaliation. This conversation can be challenging and may require multiple discussions to fully uncover the depths of the mistrust. Rebuilding trust is a gradual process that requires consistent effort from both individuals. It involves demonstrating reliability through actions, not just words. Small commitments can be made and kept to start rebuilding the reliability that is essential for trust. Transparency in actions and communication is crucial, as is taking responsibility for past breaches of trust and making genuine efforts to amend them. In some cases, professional help from a counselor or therapist may be necessary, especially if the trust issues are deep-seated or involve complex emotions from past traumas. Therapy can offer a safe space to explore these issues and develop effective strategies for rebuilding trust. However, there are situations where the breach of trust is too severe, or the pattern of distrust is too ingrained to resolve. In such cases, it may be healthier for all involved to consider ending the relationship. While this decision can be incredibly painful, it is sometimes necessary to preserve one's emotional well-being and to create the possibility of forming healthier relationships in the future. Ultimately, while restoring trust is challenging, it is not impossible. With dedication, patience, and mutual commitment, it is possible to overcome the absence of trust and rebuild a relationship that is stronger and more transparent. Number 8. Presence of abuse. The presence of abuse in any relationship is a critical, non-negotiable signal that it may be necessary to cut all contact. Abuse, whether physical, emotional, verbal, or psychological, represents a severe breach of the basic human rights of safety and respect. It fundamentally undermines the victim's dignity and integrity and disrupts the moral fabric of human relations, making it incompatible with a healthy, respectful, and supportive relationship. Abuse can manifest in many forms, each with devastating effects. Physical abuse includes any form of violence, such as hitting, slapping, pushing, or other acts that inflict physical harm. Emotional and psychological abuse, while less visible, can be equally, if not more, damaging. This can include verbal assaults, constant criticism, threats, intimidation, isolation, or manipulation designed to diminish the victim's self-esteem and manipulate their perceptions. The impact of abuse on an individual's mental health is profound. Victims often experience a range of intense emotional and psychological distress symptoms, including depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and a pervasive sense of worthlessness. The stress from living in an abusive environment can also lead to physical symptoms such as insomnia, headaches, digestive issues, and chronic pain. Over time, the cumulative effect of ongoing abuse can lead to more severe health issues, including long-term disability or chronic health conditions. Abuse also erodes a person's sense of autonomy and self-worth. Victims may feel trapped by fear, guilt, or feelings of helplessness, often exacerbated by the abuser's manipulations or threats. This can make it extraordinarily challenging for victims to leave the relationship or seek help. Abusers often isolate their victims from friends and family, cutting off potential support networks and making the victim increasingly dependent on the abuser. Addressing the presence of abuse requires recognizing the signs and taking decisive action. Victims may need to develop a safety plan, which includes identifying safe places to stay, having a ready bag with essential documents and items, and maintaining connections with trusted individuals. It's crucial for victims to know that they are not to blame for the abuse and that help is available. This may include calling hotlines, contacting local shelters, or reaching out to organizations dedicated to supporting abuse victims. Legal protection is another critical avenue. Victims may need to file for restraining orders or seek other legal recourse to protect themselves from further harm. Law enforcement agencies and legal professionals can provide guidance and protection to enforce these boundaries. Professional counseling and therapy are vital for healing from the psychological damage caused by abuse. Therapists can help victims process their experiences, rebuild their self-esteem, and develop coping strategies to regain a sense of control over their lives. Support groups can also be a valuable resource, providing a community of individuals who understand the complexities of abuse and can offer empathy, support, and advice. Ultimately, in cases of abuse, maintaining contact can continue the cycle of violence and impede recovery. Removing oneself from the abusive environment is often necessary to start the healing process and ensure personal safety. It is a step that requires immense courage and determination, but is essential for reclaiming one's life and well-being. The decision to cut all contact should be supported by comprehensive planning and support, ensuring that the victim has access to the resources and protection needed to make this transition safely. Number 9. Stagnation in personal growth. Stagnation in personal growth within a relationship is a significant sign that it may be time to consider drastic changes or even cutting all contact. A relationship should ideally serve as a supportive platform where both individuals are encouraged to evolve, pursue their interests, and fulfill their potential. When a relationship hinders personal growth, it not only limits individual development, but can also lead to a profound sense of dissatisfaction and unfulfillment. In a stagnant relationship, one or both parties may feel as though they are not progressing in any significant personal or professional aspects. This can manifest as a lack of enthusiasm for new experiences, a diminishing of personal goals, or a general sense of being stuck. Over time, this stagnation can lead to resentment, as the individuals may start blaming each other for their lack of advancement or lost opportunities. The reasons for stagnation can vary widely, but often include a mismatch in life goals, fear of change, or one partner dominating the decision-making processes to the detriment of the other's needs and aspirations. In some cases, one partner may actively discourage the other from pursuing new opportunities due to fear of change, jealousy, or insecurity. This dynamic can lead to a toxic environment, where one feels trapped and unable to express their true desires or pursue their interests. The effects of such stagnation are multifaceted. Emotionally, it can lead to feelings of regret, low self-esteem, and a loss of identity. Individuals may feel they are living a life that does not reflect their values or aspirations, leading to existential distress and questioning their life choices. Mentally, the frustration of unmet potential can lead to depression and anxiety, as the individuals struggle with feelings of inadequacy and failure. Socially, stagnation often causes isolation, as individuals may withdraw from social interactions or hobbies that were once enjoyable due to a lack of energy or interest. Addressing stagnation involves first acknowledging the issue and understanding its root causes. Open and honest communication about each individual's needs, aspirations, and perceptions of the relationship is crucial. This discussion can be challenging, as it may bring up painful truths or conflicts that have been avoided. However, it is necessary for both partners to express their feelings and concerns genuinely. If the relationship is to continue, both partners must commit to supporting each other's growth. This might involve compromising, negotiating, and setting new goals that accommodate both partners' needs. It could also require changes in lifestyle, such as reallocating time and resources to support each other's personal and professional ambitions, or engaging in joint activities that foster mutual growth and happiness. However, if attempts to resolve the stagnation are unsuccessful, and one or both individuals continue to feel hindered, it may be necessary to reevaluate the viability of the relationship. In some cases, ending the relationship might be the healthiest option, allowing both individuals to pursue their paths and reclaim their sense of purpose and fulfillment. Professional guidance from a counselor or therapist can also be invaluable in navigating this process. They can provide a neutral perspective and help both partners explore their feelings and options, whether that means restructuring the relationship or parting ways. Ultimately, while the decision to reduce contact or end a relationship due to stagnation is difficult, it is sometimes necessary to preserve one's well-being and pursue a life that is enriching and fulfilling. Taking proactive steps to address and overcome stagnation can open new doors to personal development and deeper satisfaction, both individually and in future relationships. Number 10. Persistent selfish behavior. Persistent selfish behavior in a relationship is a significant indicator that drastic changes may be necessary, potentially including the severance of ties. In healthy relationships, a balance between giving and receiving is crucial, reflecting a commitment to reciprocity and mutual respect. When one party consistently exhibits selfish behavior, prioritizing their own needs and desires over those of others, it undermines the foundation of the relationship, leading to a host of negative emotional and relational outcomes. Selfish behavior can manifest in various forms, from the more overt, such as making decisions that only benefit one party without consideration for the other, to the more subtle, such as consistently redirecting conversations to focus on oneself. Other examples include neglecting the other person's emotional or physical needs, failing to compromise, or not showing appreciation for the other person's contributions to the relationship. Over time, this behavior can erode the sense of partnership, making the other person feel undervalued and ignored. The impact of persistent selfish behavior is profound. It can lead to feelings of loneliness, resentment, and frustration within the relationship. The person on the receiving end may feel they are in a partnership where their role is to cater to the needs of the other, without their own needs being met. This imbalance can stifle personal growth and happiness, as the individual may continually sacrifice their own desires and well-being for the sake of maintaining harmony in the relationship. Moreover, persistent selfish behavior can inhibit the development of true intimacy and trust between partners. When one person always takes and rarely gives, It creates an environment of mistrust and dissatisfaction. The neglected partner may start to question their own worth and the validity of their feelings and needs, potentially leading to decreased self-esteem and self-worth. Addressing persistent selfish behavior in a relationship requires open and honest communication. It is important for the affected individual to express how the selfish actions of their partner impact them emotionally and relationally. This conversation should ideally be conducted in a non-confrontational manner, focusing on feelings and experiences rather than accusations and blame. In cases where the selfish behavior is a result of unawareness rather than malice, highlighting specific instances where the behavior was particularly hurtful can help the offending party understand the consequences of their actions and the importance of change. It's crucial, however, that both parties are willing to listen to each other and make genuine efforts to understand and accommodate each other's needs. If the selfish behavior continues despite these discussions, or if the individual consistently refuses to acknowledge or address their behavior, it may be necessary to consider more significant changes in the relationship. In some situations, couples therapy can be beneficial, providing a structured environment where both partners can explore the underlying issues, contributing to the selfish behavior with the guidance of a professional. However, if professional help and personal efforts fail to effect change, reducing contact or ending the relationship might be the healthiest option. Continually subjecting oneself to a relationship characterized by persistent selfishness can be damaging to one's mental and emotional health, and taking steps to remove oneself from such a toxic dynamic is often necessary to regain happiness and self-respect. Ultimately, while it is challenging to confront and potentially end a relationship due to persistent selfish behavior, prioritizing one's emotional and relational well-being is essential. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, understanding and giving, and recognizing when these elements are absent is crucial for maintaining personal integrity and happiness. Number 11. Destructive communication patterns. Destructive communication patterns within a relationship are a critical sign that intervention is needed, possibly to the extent of cutting all ties if the patterns cannot be resolved. These patterns disrupt the fundamental purpose of communication, to connect and enrich relationships, and instead lead to disconnection, misunderstandings, and emotional harm. Destructive communication can take many forms, including but not limited to frequent criticism, sarcasm, shouting, belittling, or the silent treatment. It often involves negative patterns such as blaming, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling, which research by psychologists like John Gottman has shown to be particularly harmful to relationships. These behaviors break down the respect and trust that are essential for a healthy relationship. The impact of destructive communication is profound and far-reaching. Initially, it may erode the sense of safety and security that individuals feel with each other, making it difficult to be vulnerable and share one's true thoughts and feelings. This can lead to a surface-level interaction where deeper, more meaningful exchanges are avoided, diminishing the emotional intimacy of the relationship. Over time, if these patterns persist, the damage can extend to one's self-esteem and mental health. Constant criticism or verbal abuse can lead individuals to question their own worth and abilities, leading to feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem. This, in turn, can trigger anxiety, depression, and other emotional health issues. The stress of ongoing negative communication can also have physical health effects, such as headaches, digestive problems, and chronic stress. Addressing destructive communication requires both parties to first recognize and acknowledge the harmful patterns. This step alone can be challenging, as it requires a level of self-awareness and willingness to change deeply ingrained habits. couples may need to learn new ways of communicating, which often involves the guidance of a counselor or therapist who can provide the tools and strategies to change how they interact. Key strategies include learning to listen actively without preparing to respond defensively, expressing needs and feelings in a non-accusatory way using I statements, and taking timeouts when conversations become too heated. It is also important to focus on rebuilding respect by expressing appreciation, reaffirming commitment to the relationship, and spending quality time together to strengthen the bond. However, if attempts to change these destructive patterns fail, and if one or both parties are unwilling or unable to make the necessary changes, it may be necessary to consider ending the relationship. Persistent negative communication can do irreparable damage, making the relationship more harmful than beneficial. In situations where leaving the relationship is the healthiest option, it's important to plan the separation carefully, particularly if the negative communication includes elements of emotional or verbal abuse. Support from friends, family, or professionals can provide the necessary strength and resources to move on from an unhealthy relationship. Ultimately, while ending a relationship due to destructive communication is a difficult decision, it is sometimes necessary to protect one's emotional well-being and to seek healthier, more supportive interactions elsewhere. The goal is always to cultivate a relationship environment where all parties feel heard, respected, and valued, and cutting ties may be the only way to achieve this when destructive communication persists. Number 12. Disregard for personal needs. Disregard for personal needs in a relationship is a serious issue that can indicate it may be necessary to reassess or even sever ties if improvements cannot be made. When one partner consistently ignores or minimizes the other's needs and boundaries, it undermines the foundation of mutual respect and consideration that healthy relationships require. This neglect can manifest in various forms, including failing to acknowledge and support emotional, physical, or professional needs, which is vital for an individual's overall well-being and growth. In relationships, each person's needs and boundaries should be recognized and valued. These can range from the need for personal space and privacy to emotional support during tough times, or even the pursuit of personal interests and professional goals. When these needs are disregarded, it can lead to feelings of insignificance and invisibility. Such experiences often result in emotional distress, including feelings of loneliness, resentment, and lowered self-esteem. Moreover, the persistent disregard for one's needs can create a toxic dynamic where the neglected individual may feel they are in a subservient or one-sided relationship. This imbalance can stifle personal development and happiness, as the individual may constantly sacrifice their own desires and well-being to appease the other party. Over time, this can lead to a buildup of resentment and a significant decline in emotional and mental health. Addressing this issue involves clear and open communication about each partner's needs and boundaries. It's crucial for the neglected individual to express how the disregard affects them and to outline clearly what they need from the relationship. This conversation can be challenging as it may confront deep-seated behaviors and dynamics within the relationship. Effective communication should aim to establish mutual understanding and respect. It involves both parties actively listening to each other without judgment and being willing to adjust behaviors and expectations to support each other's well-being. Tools such as setting clear boundaries, negotiating compromise, and perhaps most importantly, demonstrating ongoing respect for these boundaries and compromises are critical. However, if repeated attempts to address the issue do not lead to meaningful change, it may be necessary to reevaluate the relationship. Consistent neglect of personal needs is not sustainable long-term, It can erode one's sense of self and significantly impair quality of life. In cases where disregard for needs continues despite efforts to remedy the situation, it might be healthier to end the relationship. Professional counseling can also be beneficial in such situations, providing a safe space to explore the issues and dynamics at play. Counseling can offer strategies for communicating needs more effectively and for managing the emotional fallout from these experiences. For some, it helps to reaffirm their value and empowers them to make decisions that prioritize their well-being. Ultimately, relationships should enhance one's life, not detract from it. A relationship that continually disregards an individual's needs may ultimately undermine their ability to lead a fulfilling and autonomous life. Taking steps to address and rectify this disregard is crucial, and if unsuccessful, reducing contact or ending the relationship may be the best course for emotional health and personal happiness. Number 13. Consistent violation of privacy. A consistent violation of privacy is a critical indicator that it may be necessary to sever ties with someone. Privacy is a fundamental human right and a cornerstone of individual dignity and autonomy. When someone repeatedly infringes upon your personal space or private matters, it demonstrates a severe lack of respect and can be a precursor to more intrusive or controlling behavior. Violations of privacy can manifest in various ways. In personal relationships, this might involve someone going through your phone, reading your messages or emails, or rifling through your personal belongings without consent. Such actions are not only disrespectful but also breach the trust that is vital for any healthy relationship. In more extreme cases, privacy violations can escalate to stalking behaviors, such as tracking your movements, monitoring your activities online, or watching you without your knowledge. The implications of such behavior are profound. Initially, it might cause a feeling of discomfort or unease. Over time, however, the emotional impact can be severe. Victims of privacy violations often experience increased anxiety, paranoia, and a sense of vulnerability. There's a continual worry about being watched or judged, which can lead to significant emotional distress. The stress from living under such conditions can also lead to physical health issues such as insomnia, headaches, or a compromised immune system. Furthermore, a continual disregard for personal boundaries can erode self-esteem and self-worth. When someone habitually invades your privacy, it can make you feel that your personal needs and boundaries are not valued or respected. This can affect how you interact with others, potentially causing you to withdraw from relationships or avoid forming new ones out of fear that your boundaries will not be respected. Addressing these issues requires confronting the person violating your privacy and clearly stating that their behavior is unacceptable. This confrontation should ideally be done in a safe setting where you can express your concerns without fear of retaliation. It's important to set firm boundaries and communicate the consequences if these boundaries are not respected. If the behavior continues despite these efforts, it may be necessary to take more drastic measures. This could include ending the relationship or contact with the person and, in severe cases, seeking legal remedies such as restraining orders. Legal steps may also involve securing your digital privacy through changes to passwords, security settings, and possibly legal action if there is evidence of cyber harassment or stalking. In some cases, consulting with a professional such as a therapist or a counselor can provide support and guidance on how to handle the situation. They can offer strategies to manage the emotional stress caused by the privacy violations and help reinforce the importance of protecting personal boundaries. Ultimately, cutting ties with someone who consistently violates your privacy is about protecting your emotional and physical well-being. It reaffirms your right to privacy and respect in all relationships and settings, ensuring that you can lead a life free from undue intrusion and stress. Number 14. Continual financial exploitation. Continual financial exploitation is a serious warning sign that may necessitate cutting all contact with someone. This form of exploitation occurs when an individual consistently uses manipulation or coercion to control or deplete another person's financial resources. The effects of such behavior can be devastating, undermining the financial stability and autonomy of the victim, and often causing significant emotional and relational distress. Financial exploitation can manifest in various ways. It might involve someone constantly borrowing money without repaying, manipulating or pressuring someone into financial decisions that are not in their best interest, or directly stealing money or using someone else's credit without permission. In relationships, this might look like one partner taking control of all financial decisions and resources, thereby limiting the other partner's access to money, or using finances as a means to exert control. The impact of continual financial exploitation extends beyond the immediate financial losses. Victims often experience feelings of betrayal and mistrust, particularly if the exploiter is a close friend, family member, or romantic partner. This betrayal can lead to significant emotional consequences, including depression, anxiety, and a decreased sense of self-worth. Financial insecurity can also create a high level of stress, compounding any existing personal or familial pressures. Moreover, the loss of financial autonomy can trap victims in unhealthy situations or relationships. Without access to necessary financial resources, it becomes challenging to make independent decisions or to leave an abusive environment. This dependence is often exploited by abusers to maintain control over their victims, further entrenching the cycle of abuse. Addressing financial exploitation requires taking steps to regain control over one's financial situation. This might involve setting clear boundaries regarding money, such as refusing further loans or gifts, or separating joint accounts. It's also important to keep detailed records of all financial transactions, particularly in cases where legal action might be necessary to recover lost funds or to stop further exploitation. In some cases, it may be advisable to seek professional help. Financial advisors can assist in rebuilding financial health and securing assets, while therapists or counselors can help address the emotional impact of the exploitation. Legal advice might also be necessary, especially if the financial abuse involves fraud, theft, or other illegal activities. If the exploitative behavior continues despite attempts to address it, cutting ties may be the only viable option to protect oneself from further harm. This decision can be particularly difficult if the exploiter is a close relation or partner, but maintaining financial and emotional health must be the priority. Ultimately, recognizing and responding to continual financial exploitation is crucial for preserving one's financial well-being and personal integrity. Taking decisive action not only protects against further financial loss, but also empowers individuals to rebuild trust in themselves and in their relationships. It reaffirms the fundamental right to financial independence and security, which is essential for a healthy, autonomous life. Number 15. Unrelenting negativity or pessimism. Unrelenting negativity or pessimism from someone in your life is a significant indicator that it may be necessary to reconsider or even end your relationship with them. This relentless negativity can manifest as constant criticism, a perpetual focus on what's wrong rather than what's right, or a general demeanor that drains energy and dampens spirits. Over time, such negative interactions can significantly impact one's emotional health, leading to increased stress, decreased self-esteem, and a general decline in mental well-being. When someone consistently emits negativity, it can create an oppressive atmosphere that makes it challenging to maintain positivity or feel hopeful about one's circumstances. This might include always pointing out the worst in situations, dismissing positive developments, or being pessimistic about the future. It can also manifest in regularly disparaging comments about others, oneself, or even the world at large. Such behavior not only sours personal interactions, but can also taint one's perspective on life. The impact of being frequently exposed to such negativity is profound. Initially, it may simply dampen one's mood or day, but over time, the cumulative effect can be far more detrimental. Constant exposure to negativity can lead to feelings of hopelessness and helplessness, characteristic signs of depression. It can also cause anxiety as one begins to anticipate, and even dread, interactions with a negative individual. For someone continually subjected to this negativity, it may become increasingly difficult to engage in healthy, optimistic, or joyful thinking, which is crucial for overall mental health and resilience. Moreover, unrelenting negativity can strain other relationships. It often puts one in a position where they feel the need to defend themselves or others, or it might cause them to withdraw from social situations to avoid the negativity. This isolation can exacerbate feelings of loneliness and sadness, further impacting mental health. Addressing this issue involves setting clear boundaries. It's important to communicate effectively with the negative individual about how their behavior affects you. Expressing the need for more positive interactions or explaining the emotional toll their negativity is taking can sometimes prompt a change in behavior. However, if discussions and boundaries do not lead to a change in the dynamic, it might be necessary to reduce contact with the person. Limiting interactions can help preserve one's emotional energy and is often necessary to maintain personal mental health. In situations where the person's negativity is deeply entrenched and damaging, completely severing ties might be the healthiest choice. Seeking support from friends, family, or professionals can also be beneficial. Talking through the situation with someone who can offer a fresh perspective or professional advice can provide emotional relief and practical strategies for handling negative interactions. Ultimately, recognizing the toll that unrelenting negativity takes on your life and taking action to protect your mental well-being is crucial. Whether it's by setting boundaries, reducing contact, or walking away, it's important to prioritize your health and happiness. Relationships should uplift and support, not constantly drain and bring down. Thank you for watching. If you liked our video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to see more.